Thousands of years ago, the human brain was built for one mission only: survival. Now, it builds codes and systems far removed from its original purpose. Back then, forgetting meant being hunted. Today, forgetting means missing out on potential greatness. Take Sun Jin Wu, once labeled the weakest. He clawed his way back from near death inside a dungeon, refusing to remain broken. Every drop of sweat, every scar he carried transformed into obsession, an insatiable drive to climb, to level up, again and again. Hard work for him wasn't a mere decision. It became his addiction. And that addiction turned him into something unstoppable. That's what we're breaking down today: how to become hooked on hard work. Because there's a mental switch. Once it flips, pain feels like a reward and effort becomes something you chase. When you enter that zone, time bends. Distractions fade into silence. The work itself pulls you in like gravity, and suddenly, it feels like you're addicted to the act itself. This mental state has a name: flow. Flow state, an extraordinary psychological condition where you're fully immersed, operating with deep focus, effortless action, and a vanishing sense of self. It's a space where effort and reward blend, transforming labor into a self-sustaining loop. It's like a hidden cheat code in the brain that flips grueling work into addictive productivity. Look at Leonardo da Vinci. His legendary persistence wasn't mere discipline, it was flow in action. During the creation of the Last Supper, observers described him painting furiously from dawn until nightfall, forgetting food and rest entirely, only to suddenly abandon the scaffolding days later when frustration overtook him. These flow cycles explain his unending curiosity. Da Vinci wasn't grinding mindlessly. He was feeding an addiction to discovery itself. Behind that behavior lies neuroscience. When you fall into flow, your brain unleashes a cocktail of chemicals: dopamine, noradrenaline, and endorphins. Dopamine fuels your motivation, locking you on target. Noradrenaline heightens your alertness while simultaneously lowering cortisol, which calms stress. Endorphins numb pain and elevate mood, producing waves of euphoria. When these three fire together, you enter what's called an optimal flow state. It's temporary, at first lasting only minutes, but with practice the duration grows longer. Now that you know what flow is, the question becomes, how do you maximize it? Da Vinci didn't lean on raw willpower to sustain brilliance. He engineered his brain to crave the high of focus. Here's how you can do the same. Define clear, specific goals. Break down large tasks into micro-targets. Instead of write a report, aim to complete 3 outlined sections by noon. Use tools like Freedom or Focus at Will to block distractions. Build a flow-ready environment: noise-canceling headphones, minimal clutter, optimized lighting. Apply Cal Newport's deep work principle. Lock in uninterrupted 90-minute sessions for high-intensity focus. Develop rituals. Pre-work routines like brewing coffee, stretching, or reviewing objectives act as mental triggers, telling the brain it's time to lock in. These strategies aren't just hacks, they're scientifically grounded. Research in neuropsychology shows that flow silences the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for self-criticism. Freed from doubt, you act instinctively. Tasks feel natural. Time bends. Your brain begins to crave the repetition. Hard work stops feeling like punishment and becomes more like a slot machine wired for success. Flow rewires the mind to crave growth itself. And nothing captures human focus like stories. Flow thrives on immersion, and narrative is our oldest immersive tool. What if you framed your work as a hero's journey? Suddenly, you're not just doing tasks, you're playing a character on a mission. Story-based framing transforms mundane actions into meaningful quests. But for the story to truly drive you, the role has to feel legendary. This is where narrative roleplay comes in. What if hard work could feel like the ultimate video game? You're the main hero. Each task is a quest. Your brain begins craving the next level. Humans have done this since the dawn of myth. From Homer's Odyssey to modern CEOs, character-driven missions have kept us pushing through fear and boredom. Joseph Campbell's hero's journey explains it perfectly. Across myths, whether Hercules' labors or Buddha's path to enlightenment, the same pattern appears. The hero faces trials, gains strength, and transforms. This isn't just myth-making. It's neuroscience hacking dopamine-driven reward loops, silencing the self-doubting prefrontal cortex, and reshaping identity like rewriting code. When you step into a narrative persona, your brain doesn't just imagine, it evolves. Archetypes act as shortcuts, bypassing fear and fueling a dopamine drip that makes hard work irresistible. Here's how you can use imagination to make effort as addictive as binging Netflix. Craft an alter ego. Build a character with the traits you lack. If you struggle with concentration, create The focused samurai, a warrior thriving under pressure. Recast deadlines as missions. Reward yourself with XP once each is complete. Anchor tasks to archetypes. Universal symbols trigger primal motivations. Use cognitive dissonance. If your identity is the resilient inventor, procrastination feels like breaking the story itself. A 2017 study backs this. Kids pretending to be superheroes like Batman worked longer on boring tasks than those who didn't. This is the Batman effect. Hard work isn't best sustained through grit, it's sustained through myth-making. By hijacking the brain's love for stories and dopamine, you stop doing chores and start living a saga. Challenges turn into plot twists. Addiction thrives on stakes, and stakes come from meaning. That's why your narrative needs an epic purpose. Why does your work matter beyond yourself? Maybe it's reshaping an industry. Maybe it's mentoring the next generation. Maybe it's leaving a legacy. When each task is reframed as part of a grand vision, dopamine spikes the way it does when saving the world in a story. But even grand quests can feel overwhelming. That's where epic meaning comes in. Epic meaning is a psychological method that transforms dull routines into purposeful actions by tying them to something much larger than yourself. It's the hidden code that makes hard work not just tolerable but magnetic. During the 1960 space race, even NASA's janitors didn't say they were just cleaning floors. They said they were helping put a man on the moon. Psychiatrist Viktor Frankl's logotherapy also proves it. Purpose turns suffering into strength. Frame your work as a chapter in a cosmic saga, and you rewire your mind to hunger for effort the way gamblers crave jackpots. From ancient mythmakers to Elon Musk's Mars vision, history shows one truth: addiction follows meaning. Here's how you apply it. Define your cosmic why. Give your daily work a role in a larger vision. Break missions into quest lines. Making your bed? That's step one in building an empire. Each step is a subquest with rewards. Practice legacy visualization. Spend 2 minutes imagining the ripple effects of your effort, the global impact you'll leave if you dedicate yourself fully. Burnout decreases as purpose rises. Gamify progress. Track actions as if they were RPG stats. For example, one sales call equals plus 10 empowerment points toward your ultimate goal of funding 100 scholarships. Tools like Habitica turn this into a game. Your brain was never wired for plain to-do lists. It was wired for sagas. When you anchor effort to epic meaning, goals stop being simple checkmarks. They become steps toward immortality. But epic visions require momentum. So, how do you prevent burnout when everything feels infinite? The answer isn't endless grit. It's game design. Every legendary story hides a rhythm, a hidden pattern where microtasks are arranged not by deadlines but by psychological rules your brain instinctively craves. Crack this rhythm and hard work stops resembling a marathon. Instead, it becomes a slot machine you can't stop pulling. This leads us to microquesting. Hard work doesn't require sheer discipline, it requires urgency. Microquesting is another brain hack. It converts procrastination into high-stakes play, turning each task into a dopamine-charged challenge. Back in 1955, historian Cyril Northcote Parkinson wrote a satirical essay in The Economist exposing a universal truth about productivity. Work expands to fill the time given for its completion. He noticed this while studying Britain's naval administration. Even though the Royal Navy shrank after World War II, paperwork and administrative staff kept growing. Simple tasks, like approving budgets or drafting memos, dragged on not because they were difficult but because urgency was missing. He even gave the example of an elderly woman who could spend her entire day writing and sending a single postcard. Not because it was hard, but because she stretched trivial actions, finding stamps, overthinking the wording, until they consumed all available time.